Hello everyone. In this video I will be going over the Photopea version of the instructions for the typography project. Now for this project you are going to be using the quote that you selected from the typography activity and incorporating it into a image in which you do some different stylistic things with the text, maybe enlarge some of the words to bring emphasis to them, or change the font, or create some other effect of some sort. So first things first, you need to get into Photopea, and if you're on a Chromebook, then you can just hit the photo editor icon on your desktop, or on your on your Chromebook, or you can just type in directly photopea.leeschools.net into a browser. And next thing we need to do is create a new file. So for this project, I want you to create a image size that is proportional to our computer screens, because this could actually be a piece that could be used as a wallpaper for your computer, or for a computer. And so what I am going to do is go based on the instructions I gave you in the typography project description, and I'm going to type in for the name typography project. For the width, we need to keep it px for pixels, but the width is going to be 1920. And the height is going to be 1080. DPI is 72. And the background, well, you can choose whatever you like for the background. If you are going to do a certain color of text, if you've already decided on that. However, it might be best just to leave it white, and then you can change the color later. And the instructions request that you include RGB as a color mode. It already defaults to that in Photopea, so you don't have to worry about that. And it also says something about 8-bit. That, again, you don't need to worry about in working with Photopea. So I'm hitting create, and there's my workspace. So the next thing I need to do is I need to find my quote, and I already have it copied down, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, copy that, and I'm going to go back into here, and I'll go ahead and paste it. Even though I don't know what my background's going to look like, I could just go ahead and paste my quote so I have it there. So I'm going to click on the T tool first for type, and then I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to go Control V. And, you know, at this size, it's kind of small for the screen, so I want to fill up more of the screen. I'm going to make it kind of big. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and break this up a little bit. Notice I also have who the quote is by. No valid plans for the future can be made by those who have no capacity for living now. And it might be a little too big now, so I'm going to bring down this size a little bit. But I think this is how I want it. And the author's name is not as important as the actual quote in this case, so I'll shrink that down as well. Put a little hyphen in front. Now, as far as the balance, visual balance of this goes, it's not really there yet. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and figure out how I'm going to space things out and how I'm going to resize things. So what I'm going to want is the character panel over here. And I also want to choose my font. So right now this is kind of a boring font. And I'm thinking, for the most part, maybe there's some sort of like typewriter looking font or something like that. And so what I came up with thanks to the power of being able to pause this, is My Underwood. So I found one that I liked. Now here's the only thing. There are certain words that I want to emphasize, and there's, in this case, I think future is a big word that I want to emphasize. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger to emphasize it. And I think I'm going to also take some of the other text on that line. So now I'm kind of spacing things out to make them look a little bit more the way that I want it to look. And I've also resized living because I think that's an important word to emphasize in here. And Alan Watts, I need to shrink again. For some reason it got bigger, and I'll just do that right here. So I'm using this character panel to resize things. And I think I also want to take this whole thing and bring it down. So I want it to be kind of centered on the page here. And right now, it looks okay as far as I'm concerned. However, I want to do a few things. I want to change the background here. And I gave you guys some options. You can do a background color or you can do a gradient. I don't know how easy it is to do textures in this program because I have not done that yet. But I think what I want to do is I want to go with something kind of light. Like a light blue. And when I click OK, actually I'm going to go even lighter. And what I'm going to do now is change to Paint Bucket tool. And I need to make sure background is selected. And if I click in here and fill it out, there we go, we got that. I like kind of how that looks, but I think I actually want to do something with the gradient instead. So I'm going to go to the gradient tool. And I am going to, instead of going from blue to red, I'm going to choose kind of a darker blue. Or maybe I'll go more vivid of the same color. Maybe not. I'll just go like kind of a darker gray. And I also want to, let's see if, it won't let you do radial on this, will it? Apparently not. So we have a gradient, oh maybe up here at the top, there we go. And I want to make that radial. And I'm going to start it from the middle and drag it out to the edge. So I have that. Now, the text, I want it to kind of be a little bit like bolder in certain places. Like I want the word future and living to stand out. And I think for the word future, we can change the color to something like green. But I need it to stand out too. I'm thinking green because I think of like the future. I think of like the color green moving forward into the future, something like that. And living, I'm going to stick with that color green. And I'm just going to use, it automatically gives you a little eyedropper when you have the color picker up. And then I want to change, doesn't show the highlighting so well in Photopea. I want to change some of the effects of those parts of the text. I don't know if it'll do it for the whole thing or just that, but I need a stroke or something. I'm going to do a drop shadow first. And wow, it actually looks really nice the way it is, but I want to lighten it a little bit. And one thing you can do in Photoshop that you can't do in Illustrator is actually drag the drop shadow to make it go where you want it to go. You have to do everything in this window on Photopea. So I'm bringing that a little closer. And do I want to do anything with bevel? Bevel kind of gives it a nice effect. I like that. And I want there to be a stroke, and I think for that it's going to make it for the whole thing. But I want to make that stroke black. Okay. And when I click OK, and I click OK again, If I'm satisfied with what I have, then I can go ahead and save it. And that's the project. Now you can do other things with layer effects, or you can do some other things with fonts. You can change the font up. You even have it so that you have some text on one layer and some on another, so that you can apply an effect to just one of those things. But the whole idea here is that you're taking the text tool and the things you've learned about the layer styles and the character panel and all that, and kind of incorporating all that stuff to use as a tool for creating text, taking text to another level and making it so that it's visually interesting and certain things are reinforced through principles of design. So to finish up, we need to go to File, Save PSD, and because we named the file in the beginning, it's automatically going to save it to the downloads as whatever it was called, .psd, and then you can upload that to Classroom. And again, this is a project grade, so make sure that you complete this and turn it in. It's actually a pretty quick and easy project, but if you don't turn it in, it can really hurt your grade. All right, have a good afternoon.